Hello everyone, welcome back to this episode of Bitcoin Trade. And this episode I'll do a chart analysis and just a little review about uh, the news, at least the provider of the news. And so let's go into the chart analysis so you guys can get to your trades or whatever you want to do. So far, um, things are really looking good as far as the trend changing. Um, so I mentioned in my previous episodes that the 300 seems to be a really good floor, a support floor, and that to see the trend reverse, you need a couple confirmations. First of all, um, it needs to cross over, finish up higher than this last high, and ideally, if this finished higher than this high. And so it did all those. So you got, a couple things going on. You got the crossover, you got this finishing higher than that, and this also finishing higher than that. And so looks like what you're seeing now is just a retracement, a small retracement, and it may bounce at this 10 period average, or it may bounce off of this now being a support, the 25 period average or 24, whatever it is. And so um, so what you're seeing here is now the price is going down. This is Bitfin at 381.85, and it's going, as you see, it's going down, and it's kind of passing a little bit. Now this is where it may break down here and bounce off of this low, or it may bounce off of this average line here. So be selective. On a short term, you're in a downtrend. On a medium term, you're in an uptrend. Overall, of course, you're in a downtrend. So a couple ways to look at this is, and this is where when it starts to change trend, you're not really sure yet. To be confirmed, unfortunately, by the time it's confirmed that the trend is reversing and going back up, it's already too late. It's just a confirmation. Of course, confirmation means it's already happened or has happened. So if you just wait long enough, you'll never get into the trade to take advantage of the gains. So you gotta, as it's happening, you really gotta start understanding and playing, um, the trade, uh, especially on these exchanges. And so a couple things to look out for is obviously what I've said is be selective in your limit orders. So I think right here is a really good price. Let's see here. Sorry. Right here about whatever that average line is right here. So 370, maybe 375. It never really touches. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. 375. If you already bought in at 385, somewhere around there, you should just hold and see what happens. Or you could just average it, average cost buy, all the way from anywhere from 385 to 375, somewhere around there. The other option is right here at around maybe 355, 355, somewhere around there. And then after that, I wouldn't buy any more. Limit your risk on that, because if it falls below that, then it's probably most likely going to trend back downwards, and it'll retest this 300. So if you really want, you can put and if you haven't already, you should probably put something here at 300, just in case because it's retesting the 400, and like I said, I think it might range between here, because that's when the trend changes, um, it'll go up and down before it finally figures out what to do, because this price action doesn't by itself does not have a life. Okay, the price action comes from you and me, people who trade, and so you know what's happening is we're not really sure if it's going to go up, if it's going to go down, and maybe waiting for some good news, positive feedback, negative feedback, whatever. And so that's what's happening is as this is a long downtrend, and then now you're seeing the trend possibly change, and so you're seeing it move up and down until people really decide, like, is it going up, going down, and we're all playing off each other really. So uh, that's kind of what's happening, and so you got to play it the right way. You got to see it. So oftentimes when you see a long trend go down, it will often, it trends for a long time, and when it changes, it will go up and down, because as people trade, we're not really sure, is it really going up? Is it a false positive or positive false? I don't know if that made sense, but sometimes you can get a lot of false signals. But on this 12-hour period, it looks like a really good signal. And even then, this is 12 hours and really not long enough, because another way you can look at this is to pull back a little bit more. And let me just pull back to a 1 day. And if you look at the 1 day, you'll see that it's actually hit up on this average right here. And then it's bouncing off of this 10 period average. So this is another way to look at it. And so what it's doing is it could be still riding on this 10 period average, but it's bouncing off of it. So it's hit up against the 25 period average, and it's hit up against that, and now it's just bouncing off of that. And it may bounce a little, around here, but at least on the daily, you're seeing somewhat of a chance of reversal of this very long downtrend. I mean, it's very long, and the gap is wide right here. Now it's closing in, so there's a chance that it could move up. Now, if you pull back even further, you'll see that I'm going to pull back to that's a daily into a and daily into a 3-day. You'll see now, if I'm able to, let me try to see if I can zoom in. There's not much info here. So you see now that what's happened is on a 3-day, it's been riding the 10 period average, being a resistance, hitting down. Now you're seeing that it's hit above it and finished above it. Okay, and it's the same principle as a 12-hour or any other chart that I look at. It just takes longer to get a confirmation. So that's why I look at the 12-hour, and you think the 12-hour is long. I'm more of a trend trader. There's some people who will just look at the 15-minute chart or half an hour or 1 hour chart and trade on that. I'm in it for the long haul. Maybe when you first start to trade, you'll start, trading off the 1 hour, then you back up on the 2. I'm at the 12-hour, so I've got a lot more invested, and so when I make a buy or a sell, the trends tend to, I'm following the trend, and if anything I learned from trading forex is, don't fight the trend, because you're going to be on the wrong side of that trade. So try to be with that trade, try to work with the trend instead of against the trend, if that makes sense. And so you see that it has broke above this 10 period average, and now it's kind of bouncing. It may bounce off of that, so there's still a lot of potential to still move up, because this gap is very large. When I see very large gaps like this, I see a bounce, and there's a couple ways to look at that. What's happening is you're seeing a retracement from a downward movement, or you're seeing the beginning of a trend reversal where it's starting to trend back up. A couple ways you can look at it. So I'm biased. I'm very long on Bitcoin. So I mean, the only reason I would sell my Bitcoin is because I want to buy in at a lower price. I'm sorry, I don't just buy and hold everything I get, because I'm looking for deals. I'm looking to get more Bitcoin for my money. I'm not. Some of us aren't wealthy. We don't get an unlimited. We're not the Federal Reserve. I'm not the Federal Reserve. I don't print an unlimited amount of money so I can go buy Bitcoins. Okay, I have to actually earn them. I have to make a gain. And so, anyways, however you want to trade it, but that's just my feelings on it. So if you pull back on the 3-day, you're seeing that it's barely made it above, and there's still potential to move upwards. So there's still potential to move up and then make an advancement, and this would be the resistance, which would be about 450, somewhere around there. Let me see. Yeah, 450, somewhere around there. And so there's still something left there. I wouldn't really go back on a week because Bitfin doesn't have that much information to do it. So, and if you're wondering why I'm using Bitfin, because well, last time I checked, they are the leading in volume, but it may be Bitstamp, between Bitstamp and Bitfin. So, but anyways, if you want to look at Bitstamp, go ahead. I'm kind of looking at Bitfin. And so let's see here. So let's go back to the 12-hour. Okay, so that's what's going on now. It looks like the price is dropping, so it may touch this. So that's something to look out for. Worst case scenario is if it continues to go down. Like I said, there's a couple options. You could put at around 350, 355, somewhere around there. You can put in a limit order here, see if it'll bounce off of this right here, this low in particular. You may retest this area. Worst case scenario, it's going to be a retest of the 300. So you could put some limit orders here, or maybe do some average costing, average buys like around here. That way, just in case sometimes it never really hits. Retest 300, it just kind of goes back up, back down, and then it'll just shoot up. So if you're a wave theorist, you'll see that this is just wave one, and a possible down here to maybe what is that, 350, and before it goes on to wave three. And wave three is typically the longer of the wave, and so it goes one, and then two, and then 3, and then supposedly there's one more, 3, 4, and then 5, and then, but there's waves within waves within waves, so it's hard to tell. But a lot of people, they trade on that. So if other people are trading on that, that means they're moving the price to do that. So that's something to consider. Okay, remember this price. The way the price action moves doesn't move itself. You and I, people who trade, are moving that price. Okay, and so this is basically a consensus of what people think the value of Bitcoin is, literally. And if on some of these exchanges, you don't have that option of margin trading or leveraging yourself. So that price is what it is, one for one. All right, and so that's what makes, if you ask me, that's what makes Bitcoin so different, is that it's one for one. That means if someone bought like a $9 million worth of Bitcoins, they had $9 million worth. They didn't have $900 and bought $9 million worth of Bitcoin. All right, they actually had $9 million and bought Bitcoins. So that's the biggest difference. And also, if you buy those Bitcoins, you can take possession of them. That's the other huge advantage. Like when I buy stocks, I don't get shares of, whatever. All right. When I buy currency on those currency exchanges, I don't get $1 billion in the mail or in my bank account. Yeah, I don't. Most likely, what happens on a currency exchange is you have like maybe $1,000, and that $1,000 can buy up to $10,000 worth of whatever. Or if you're U.S. dollars, you have $10,000 of leverage money. And so big difference in my opinion. Plus, I don't get $10,000 in my bank account. All right, when I have $1,000 to leverage. So those are the the differences here with trading Bitcoin. When you trade, you're trading one for one. Um, so that means there's real value, real money involved here, not leverage money or borrowed money. Um, so so when things happen, um, that's what that's the value that's there to be taken or lost, to be gained or lost, I should say. And so hopefully this helps you. Um, so if you're looking for some ideas of where to put your buy limits, I mean, I gave you some ideas. And then if you're, you know, if you're gonna, sell out, I'll give you some ideas of that. And I guess there's nothing wrong with shorting because, if you have a feeling that the price is not gonna advance beyond a certain point, and you want to buy more Bitcoins, well, you can obviously short or get out of your position and then wait for the price to come down and then buy more. Um, so there's nothing wrong with that. I know, I do that, but I only do that so I could buy more Bitcoins. I mean, I'm looking to buy. I'm looking to get more Bitcoins. That's the whole point. I'm not looking to cash out. So, anyways, other areas of maybe resistance is obviously going to be at 450. That's going to be right here because this is the high. The highs become a resistance. And then I think if it can get right around here on this price, right around here, which is about I think 480, somewhere around there. Let me see what the price is. Yeah, about 480, 485. If it can break somewhere right around here and break out, I think that's a very strong confirmation that the trend has reversed. So if it can break here and then finish high or finish above this or higher, that's probably a really good signal that the trend is reversing. It's back swinging up in price. And so, but again, you have to wait for confirmation. But if you wait for confirmation, you've already missed it. So you kind of have to position yourself before that happens. So that's where the risk comes in. So you got to take a risk. All right, and don't get analysis by paralysis. Some of the things that I'm using are just so simple. I just basically look at the volume. I'll look at the two averages, and then no other indicators other than is it a higher high from the last high, is it a lower low from the last low, things like that. That's about all. That's about it. That's all I have. But if you can use these are simple techniques, but if you use the simple techniques in an infinite amount of combination to make more complex strategies, you won't necessarily need an indicator or an oscillator or even lines, or you can use them in conjunction. But really, for me, trading on very simple, strategies with combination of other simple strategies to make more complex strategies works really well for me. Now, it may not work for you, but that's just my experience with it. So let's go on to some news here. Hold on. All right. So here's some news, and I'm not going to really talk about the news. I just wanted to point out that I've been, you always got to keep up to date on what's going on. If you trade Bitcoin, or if you're involved in Bitcoin trading, or if you're involved in Bitcoin or care about Bitcoin, or care about your life, or care about your rights and your freedom, if you want to empower yourself, all that good stuff, bear arms, raise your army, you know what I mean, stuff like that. You want to pay attention to Bitcoin related news. Well, I found that out of I mainly get my sources of news from 3 websites, and that's from Cryptocurrency News, okay, right here. So Cryptocurrency News, all right. And lately, I have to give these guys a thumbs up because they have been just reporting news after news after news, and they've been on it, and they've been reporting before any of the other news websites, and they are reporting a lot of things, and it seems like a lot of these are just independent. Um, I'll call them journalists. That's what they are. Independent journalists going out there just hitting that news. As far as I can tell, out of the three websites that I frequent, and so they're always the first, and they're really good. So I have to give these guys a thumbs up. If you have the time to, if you're interested in the news or what's going on, I recommend Cryptocurrency News. I know they get paid, paid advertisement and all that, but that's how they make their money. But at the same time, that's what they're reporting, and you know their writers and their journalists are putting really good content for me to come here. So a lot of things going on. I mean, just a lot of things going on. Go ahead and read them. I'm not going to really talk about them. I just want to talk about. I just want to give my thumbs up to Cryptocurrency News. That's all. They've been doing a really excellent job in reporting relevant Bitcoin-related news. And then now I'm not saying they're better or they're worse, but I've just noticed recently they've been doing a lot of really breaking news, reporting, and it helps. It helps to have information because information is power, and if you can use that information to empower yourself, that's the point. And then of course, CoinDesk, very very popular. Lately they've been kind of a little bit slow. They've been, cryptocurrency news has been beating the breaking news before CoinDesk, but you know, CoinDesk is overall well-rounded, is what I find. So again, you know, it's, having more information is better than not having enough information, in my opinion. So there's some other stuff going here, and I won't talk about too much of this stuff because you probably all know how I feel about this. And so I just want to talk about the different news providers, and then Cointelegraph is another news that I frequent. Now they're not as much as breaking news or different than CoinDesk, but I I do like getting a variety of news. They also report on things that maybe the other two websites don't really report on. And I'll give you an example. Pretty much they talk about the same stuff and some other stuff, and I just want to give you the example of the news that, like this example, like, and I only bring it up because I did an episode on it, but I didn't see anybody else reporting this, and so they're really really independent. They may not be all that mainstream or breaking, but they do give a different view, and they do report on things that may not be reported. So I do have to give it up to them. And by the way, I did watch some. Actually, I watched the Prince of. I think there's like 4, maybe 5 episodes. So I watched all of them, and they're not that long. And you know what? It's very entertaining. It was very entertaining. It made me laugh. It was enjoyable to watch. Um, and this is, I just watched the YouTube version. It's censored, so don't think I subscribed. I didn't subscribe to it, all right? So don't think, oh yeah, I bet it really was enjoyable or anything. But I'm saying it was very entertaining. It was enjoyable to watch because it uh, it it entertained me. It made me laugh. It was good to. It made me feel. Um, it gave me a relief from the stress of trading bitcoins, and so I think I'll watch it more often because it's hilarious, it's funny, it really is, and I have to thank Bitcoin Bell for making these videos. It takes a lot of time and effort, I have to admit it seems like she puts a lot of time and effort into making her videos versus what I do is this is just a crappy, well, not a crappy camera phone, but it's a camera phone, and that's what I'm using compared to what she's doing. She's actually doing multimedia and all this other stuff. So, anyways, that's what I'm saying. It gives you different things. It talks about different things, and again, independent sources of journalism and news reporting. So, they all have their benefits. So I frequent all three of them, and between all three of them, it helps me trade. It really does. So don't take these news sites for granted, because it really does help me. So that's kind of what I want to talk about. And then let me go back to cryptocurrency news, because I think they've been doing a great job in breaking news and reporting. So I have to give it up to them. I give this, so far I give them all a thumbs up. But so far, I guess today I'll give these guys the thumbs up. All right, great job. Anyways, so that's the episode for today. I'm going to keep it short and simple. Feel free to comment, like, dislike, or even leave a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.